And that was an excerpt from Forward by our Meet the Composer, Libby Larsen. The Symphony Forward was written by Libby for the inaugural concert of the Norman Philharmonic in January of 2011. Libby Larsen is one of the most prolific and performed composers of our time. Thank you, Libby, for all your beautiful music.
Hi, I'm Libby Larsen, and I am a living American composer. I didn't choose to be a composer. I am a composer. Since the time I was a little kid, I always have music in my head. Sometimes it's happy music, sometimes it's sad music, but it's my music. All of my classmates learned to read and write music in first grade, just as part of our learning. And so we all wrote music. Really almost every day for the 8 years that we were in that particular school. I just lit on fire. So I wrote music every day, also every minute, also every moment that I could get what was in my head out and onto paper. When I started college at the University of Minnesota, I was going to have a double major. I was going to be an economist and also a singer. I was going to sing at the Met Opera and also be a stockbroker at the same time. That was my dream for myself at age 17. But when I started college and I began to study how music was made, I'm not talking about performing, I'm talking about how Mozart wrote his music or how James Brown comes up with his music, just the kind of the architecture of music. I thought, oh my goodness, there could be a profession. Some higher power just said, this is it, kid, off we go, you know. And so I got started composing because I was already composing. When I am going to start composing a piece of music, a song for instance, it starts with a feeling. It's usually an energy or an emotion, a complete thought that I have no idea how to say, but it's there and it's going like, hello, now let's spend some time on this. I sometimes work at my piano and unlock some sound to start turning this idea into music. Sometimes I just sit quietly and I think the music in my head. Or other times, like when I wrote the Norman anthem, I wrote that piece running around the lake with my two running buddies. And what I said, I have to write the Norman, Oklahoma anthem. I need to write this anthem. Sometimes what it takes to start a song is to believe that the song is started. That's what it takes. I love talking with people about my music, and often someone will ask, what's the favorite piece that I have ever composed? And there's only one answer to that, and that is the piece that I'm working on right now. I'm always in love with the piece that I'm working on right now. Sometimes I don't like the piece, but I'm always in love with the piece, and it's always my favorite piece, and it has to be, because I'm giving it my heart, my soul, and my full attention. So right now, the piece I'm working on, that's my favorite piece. Phyllis Wheatley, who lived from 1753 to 1784, arrived in Boston in 1761 on the slave trade schooner Phyllis. She was 7 years old. She was purchased by Susanna Wheatley, who was the wife of a wealthy merchant in Boston. Tutored in the Wheatley home, she rapidly became one of the great poets of her time, and in fact, of all time. As such, Phyllis was freed from slavery in 1773. She married John Peters, and she had 3 children. In 1775, while traveling to the East Coast, marketing her poems, she was a published poet, one of only 3 American women poets published at the time, she met George Washington. The meeting occasioned the poem of entreaty and encouragement. It was subsequently published by both the Pennsylvania Magazine and the Virginia Gazette, and George Washington kept this poem in his pocket as he led the troops in the Revolutionary War. Grace and glory.
Sir, I have taken the freedom to address Your Excellency in the enclosed poem and entreat your acceptance, though I am not insensible of its inaccuracies. Your being appointed by the Grand Continental Congress to be Generalissimo of the armies of North America, together with the fame of your virtues, excites sensations not easy to suppress. Your generosity, therefore, I presume will pardon the attempt. Wishing Your Excellency all possible success in the great cause you are so generously engaged in, I am Your Excellency's most obedient, humble servant, Phyllis Wheatley.
I was asked to compose music for various events at the Library of Congress. And one of them was the inaugural presentation of the John Kluge Prize, which is an international prize given to a person for their work in the humanities. The Kluge Center was going to present this first award, and they asked if I might write a fanfare for the occasion, which was a great honor and a lot of fun. I produced this piece, Fanfare for Humanity, and we premiered it at the Library of Congress in the Coolidge Auditorium in 2003. The ensemble who played the fanfare was the President's own brass ensemble. Oh my goodness, such a fine group of musicians. A time out of time, the whole evening, of honoring a person who had given their lives to work for human good. I love it when people ask me who are my musical heroes. I like to delight them by surprising them with not answering Beethoven. Although I do love Beethoven's music, my musical heroes come from all kinds of places. And one of my greatest heroes is Louis Armstrong, the great trumpet player. Louis Armstrong was famous worldwide. He toured Europe before he was accepted in the United States. But then, in around 1935, Louis Armstrong and all the musicians that he worked with, many musicians, formed a group of clubs called the Hot Clubs of America. In several cities around America, the Hot Clubs, a place where you could go and hear the musicians who played music like Louis Armstrong played. And I would write an homage to Louis Armstrong for chorus. And so we're going to present for you my Louis Armstrong movement, United Hot Clubs of America.
When we got back to London, I went over to have a look at Paris and take a little rest for a week before I had to get back home. I landed in New York the day President Roosevelt was elected, November 2nd, 1932. It had been a short trip, but I got home thinking swing music was a lot more important than I knew before. And I guess maybe I was feeling a little important about my own playing. You know how you can get sometimes. Those high C's certainly did wow me. Man.
I so admire people who speak from their heart through their own art form. And Harriet Beecher Stowe, of course, contributed an enormous gift to our American culture with her book, Uncle Tom's Cabin. I had no idea that the great soprano, Jenny Lind, who was as popular in 1850 as Taylor Swift is today, that Jenny Lind toured the United States. And on her tour, she learned about Harriet Beecher Stowe and Uncle Tom's Cabin, and she was so moved that she wrote a letter to Harriet Beecher Stowe. So I decided that, in fact, in honoring Harriet Beecher Stowe, I would set the letter that Jenny Lind wrote to her, an homage to the courage and clarity of the writer Harriet Beecher Stowe. You must know what a deep impression Uncle Tom's Cabin has made upon every heart that can feel for the dignity of human experience. So I, with my miserable English, would not even try to say a word, but I must thank you for the great joy I have felt over your book. I have the feeling about Uncle Tom's Cabin that great changes will take place by and by, and that the writer of that book can fall asleep today with the bright, sweet conscience of having seen a strong means in the Creator of the essential good. God bless and protect you and yours, and certainly God's hand will remain with a blessing over your head. Yours most truly, Jenny Lind. 1850, she wrote this letter. 2021. Think about it.
Existence.